with another quick tutorial for you here. I am currently working on a custom piece. I've removed the hardware already, and then I've mixed up my, it's a steel gray, I guess is what you would call it, paint here. And what I'm going to be doing on this piece is a very distressed look, almost like a barnwood effect, or the kind of flooring that you see in a lot of the newer homes, the gray with the light distressing on them. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 coats of my chalk paint on there, and then I will be back. Okay, so my table is now fully dry. I've put 2 coats of the chalk paint on there, and what I'm going to do next is get that beachy wood look effect to the wood that I have. So I have 3 different colors here. I have Lincoln Cottage Black, then I have Blindfold, which is a dark gray, and then Whitewashed Oak, and I will put pictures of these so you guys can see what they each look like. And basically what I'm going to do is just lightly brush some of this color on to this piece and then allow it to dry and then sand it down for a more worn look. So I'm going to start with the darkest color first, which is the black here. And I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush, dab some of it off on a napkin, and then with this product I'm going to go a long ways and just kind of brush it on in long strokes to give it that look that I'm going for. Now, I always just do a little bit at first because you can always go back and add more. If you get too much on there, then it becomes really hard to fix it. If you do get too much, all you have to do is get out your other chalk paint that you originally painted it with and just paint over it. So now I'm going to go in with the second darker color, which is the gray. Same process. Just dab a little bit off and then go back over. And take a little bit more of that gray. All right, and then the last color I'm going to go in with is the white. Same process again. Get some paint on there, dab off the extra. And I'm just using a different brush for this one because I was already using this brush, so it was already wet with that paint. All right, so I will let that dry and then I will be back to show you the sanding portion of it. So all of the 3 colors have been applied to this piece and they have had time to dry. And I think that I'm just going to go ahead and do the protective finish now. Originally, I had thought that I'd want to go back through and give it more of a distressed look by sanding it down and exposing some more of that wood. But I think I really like the piece as it is, so I'm going to leave it that way. If I were to go back in with sandpaper to buff it out, I would just use a 220 and just take it to, you know, areas here and there, corners, edges, things like that, to give it a more distressed and worn look. But I like it the way it is, so we're going to go ahead and apply that polycrylic now. I will be using the minwax water-based polycrylic in the clear matte finish. The reason I choose the clear matte is just because I like the way the chalk paint looks. I don't want to add any shine or gloss to this piece, so I go with the matte. I also choose the polycrylic over polyurethane simply because the polycrylic is water-based, the polyurethane is oil-based, and it will get a yellow tint over time. Which is very noticeable on pieces that you do in the lighter colors. And it can also change the effect of a paint color on the darker colors as well. So I like to stick with the polycrylic, the paint-on method, not the spray. The paint-on method is much easier to control and get that even, smooth coat versus the spray method, which you don't have a lot of control over it. So my choice is the polycrylic, the minwax, water-based in the clear matte. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that, and then I will be back to show you the next step. That first coat of sealant has dried, and I'm just going to go ahead and take a brown paper bag here and buff out any roughness or edge that I can feel, any bubbles. This will remove bubbles as well. So just gently buff any of the main areas. I'm not going to go in and do the detailing, but if there was any bubbles along the side here, or down in this area or inside of the actual inside, I would go through and buff that out. So I'm going to buff that out and apply a second coat and allow that to fully dry as well.